Scoring the path, not the prize, Claude 4.8 does not just guess the next token. It runs every reasoning step through a process-based reward model that scores the validity of its internal monologue before the user sees a single character. While marketing calls these thinking blocks a transparency feature, the technical reality is more functional. Traditional outcome-based reward models only care if the final answer is right, which allows models to use flawed or deceptive reasoning to arrive at a correct-looking result. By switching to a process-based architecture, Anthropic has moved the safety filter from the output terminal to the cognition phase, effectively killing the reasoning drift that characterizes common jailbreaks. This mechanism is why the model can now pause mid-thought if it detects a high-risk trajectory in its own latent space. Why ORMs fail at safety? Think of an outcome-based reward model like a grader who only looks at the final answer on a math test. If a student cheats but gets the right number, they still pass. In LLMs, this manifests as sycophancy or hidden bias, where the model tells you what you want to hear through a logically unsound path. PRMs solve this by providing step-level supervision, ensuring every link in the chain remains aligned with the system's core constitutional constraints. The internal monologue audit trail. The July 1st redeployment of Claude Fable 5 follows a high-profile suspension triggered by a safeguard bypass reported by Amazon researchers. That incident proved that even advanced models can be tricked into identifying software vulnerabilities if the attack is buried in a complex, multi-step prompt. The internal monologue safety layer in the 4.8 and 5.0 series provides the first viable defense against these indirect prompt injections by making the model's intent legible. Developers can now programmatically monitor the thinking blocks for specific triggers like unauthorized tool calls or credential harvesting attempts. Instead of trying to guess if a model is being compromised based on a vague output, we can now see the model's own realization of a malicious instruction. This shifts the defense from reactive filtering to active structural observation, which is the only way to secure the agentic workflows currently dominating the SWE bench leaderboards. It turns the model's internal reasoning from a black box into a queryable data stream. The verification bottleneck. The shift toward process-based verification confirms that the industry's primary bottleneck is no longer generation quality, but verification architecture. As seen in the comparison between Claude 4.8 and the recent GLM 5.2 benchmarks, raw performance on coding tasks is effectively reaching a plateau. The real separation is happening in reliability and the ability to audit the path taken. By exposing the internal monologue, Anthropic is signaling that the era of the black box assistant is over for enterprise-grade agents. For builders, this means your job is transitioning from prompt engineering to loop engineering, designing the verifiers and stop rules that govern how these models think. This architectural pivot suggests we are moving toward a world where a model is only as good as its ability to prove its own work. Watch for the next update to the Claude code harness. If it begins allowing automated PRM feedback loops during local file edits, it will mark the final transition from chatbots to truly autonomous, verifiable software engineers. Subscribe for more.